Hi everybody, this is Pramita here, and again I apologize for the first part of the construction of the cover video whereby the music was loud in certain parts, and that was totally unintentional. I had been working on this in bits and pieces, and then when I tried to put that together there was a technical glitch sort of thing, which at certain parts it was, it was beyond my control. But so I was in two minds whether I should put up that video or not, but I thought I'll put that up because what I was doing was not rocket science. You could figure it out if you keep on watching. And the music was not loud continuously, but I did get some comments, and I totally apologize for that. It was totally unintentional, and even though I tried to rectify it, it didn't go away. But I also didn't want to waste more time in constructing another cover like this, so you get what you see. I apologize for that. So the next part is where I'm going to be attaching the next two covers. So what I have here is, first let me walk you through the entire thing. I'm going to be creating a policy style closure for this, and for that is the first step I'm going to do now, because I need to let this dry for a while, and then only I'll be able to make the holes. So this is a 1 inch, I think it is not 1 inch, it is 3/4, it is 3/4 of an inch circle punch. Oh my god, circle punch, and I've just punched out some single-sided cardstock paper. So I'm going to be gluing this down so that it is a little bit sturdy, and then I'm going to be adding that over here. Okay, so I'm going to glue this first, let this dry, and then I'm going to ink it later on. So the first step is like gluing these babies down. So also I'm going to be using some tiny brads. These are from some local shop, and they are very good. I'm super happy. I need to buy a few more. I'm just trying to use up my gunky glues because they will work fine for these kind of projects. And yes, I had to chop off the nozzle so that it flows at least, and I can use them up in projects like this. I'm not a person big on going for something which can be used in different projects. I'm not going to throw that glue away, that's for sure. So I'm going to be putting this under my bulldog clip, and then I'm going to be putting these. I just don't want to mess up my fingers. Yes, that's done. So I'm going to be putting this down over here so that it's sort of it is a little bit tricky, but that works out fine. So yeah, I'm going to let this dry. That's it. So they are going to be drying for a while, then only I'll be able to add the brads. In the meantime, let me start the cover a little bit. So this is the cover, and this is going to be the back. Oh my god, it was totally upside down. So I'm going to be adding this fabric, the one that I had used in the previous one, and first I'm going to be adding that fabric. I'm going to let that dry for a while, and then I will, just a minute, sorry guys, I just bumped against the camera. Then I'm going to stitch that. Okay, so when I'm stitching that, I will do that only after I'm sure that I have the brads fixed, because this part is not going to be sewn in, because I'm going to be, this has to open up, so I'm not going to sew that part. So I have to be careful and mindful of that fact. So I don't know what's wrong with this. Must have decided that it needs to dry a little bit. Let me open the nozzle up. Yeah, So I'm going to be using a little bit of glue, and not too much because I know I'm going to be stitching anyways. So, and also because I know that I don't need to add fabric way beyond you know, this part. So I'm just adding this very lightly, and I'm going to be taking this part off because I don't require that basically. Yeah, so I'm going to be adding this. So this is on this side. I'm just going to press this a little, and then I will be adding this. Okay, so I'm going to be adding this. So what I'll do is, I usually do is, I'm going to be turning this around because this makes things a little bit easier, and I'm going to be adding this like so. Okay, so I have my spine, and of course I'm going to be putting another layer. I'll show you that also, but I'll put the glue on the paper. That way it's easier, because if you put glue on the fabric, it somehow gets absorbed very quickly and it doesn't work as well as you expect it to do. So I'm going to press this down a little bit. Now I don't need this to be adhered totally because, as I said, I'm going to be sewing this anyways, but I need this to at least adhere a little bit. So that's done. And now what I'll do is, did I mess up? Did I mess up? I have to see. I have to see. So this is the back cover. So the arrangement of the pockets needs to be figured out. So if this is going to be my front, so this is going to be the middle. I should have added on this side. Anyways, it doesn't matter. We can do it here also. It's all the same. So when you close it, it's going to be, and then you can close it like this. So this will be the back, and when you open this, I don't want this on this side. Can I take it off? Yes. Yay! I can. Yes. No damage done. That's good. Okay. So I'll have to adhere it on the other side. See? The bloopers. That's what you get to see when you watch a YouTube video of mine. So I'll be adding this on this side. So that this is at the end of the journal panel, and that was the plan. I don't know what went wrong. Okay, so here I have the fabric, and I'm going to be adding this on this side. Okay, and then I'm going to be adding this on this side. Yeah, so this will go on this side. So I'm going to let this dry for a while. I don't want to mess up again. Okay, so I'm going to let this dry for a while. I'll be back after it dries a little bit, and then we'll finish this part and do the needful. Okay, so I have basically lined up the journal covers, and I'm going to be adding this. I'm going to be gluing this down, just showing you. So I'll add the glue on this side of the cover, not on this side, this side of the cover, and then we'll keep it for a while so that, you know, it's easy to handle, it's easy to put another layer of fabric. So I'm just going to line this up and something like this. So it is what it is. So this is going to be the end part, you know, and then I'm going to be adhering these two covers with this part. So you have 4 covers which are going to fold up. I have done accordion journals before, but never in a hardcover format. This is pretty hard, you know, this cover, and you can hear it's like a chipboardy kind of cover. It was not meant to be a chipboard cover, but somehow this packaging is very stiff and it turned out like a chipboard cover, and I'm super pleased with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this dry for a while, and then I'm going to add the next layer of fabric over here so that I finish this part, and then I can move on to adding these two together. Okay, so I'm going to let this dry for a while. I'm going to be looking for that netting fabric that I had added in the first spine over here. So what I'll do is I'll put this netting fabric, and since this part is going to open, I don't want this peeking too much, so this is probably going to be around this place, otherwise it's not going to work. You know, if you have this lying over here, how will you open? It's not going to open, so you have to figure that out. So I'm going to open this, and then I'm going to line this up. Okay, so this is going to be like this, and then I'll have another layer of fabric. Okay, so I'm going to glue this, and then I will glue these two together. So you have seen me do this in the previous part. So what I'll do now is I'll just glue these two parts, these two layers of fabrics, and we'll do the same for this one also. So we're going to move this aside for a while. And so when you're working on a policy closure envelope, you have to figure out the mechanics of it sometimes, because otherwise it's not going to work. I have done that before. So trust me, it's coming from someone who has experienced that, and I had to totally redo certain things, and that's okay. That was the learning process. And as I said, I do not have any background in scrapbooking, or I've never made cards as such, never made mini albums. So it was totally a learning curve for me. And I'm going to place this like so, because I'm going to take out these threads in the end. So I want a little bit wider, so I can take this out later on. Right now I'm not doing that. This is, let's bring out that gunky glue, the one that I have, and I want to use up in projects like this so that it oozes out more. I'll probably open up this bottle because it is what it is. See how gunky it is. So no, I don't want this. Probably I'll cut open this bottle, and then I'll use some sort of a brush to add glue. So I need to this is a very thick glue, and the fun part is it doesn't show through your fabrics. Because it is a very thick glue, it has very little water content. Even though it's a PVA glue, it's a craft glue, and it's pretty good. So here is my fabric. Okay, and I'm going to let this dry pretty well, because then it will be easier for me to stitch and also trim the extra part off, you know, because if I have extra part, this will have difficulty in closing. So I'm going to let this dry entirely, and I'll be back after it has dried and I have stitched. Then we can do the trimming process together. So that's it. So I'm going to let this dry. So this is how it's looking. Super happy. Okay, and now I have no issue using my finger. So I'm going to keep this aside, let this dry, and then I'll come back and show you how it looks. Okay, so keep watching, don't go anywhere. So I have stitched this part down and have kept in mind that this is going to close up, so I have to trim this part. So I'm going to be trimming this. I bought a big pair of scissors for the fabric. Unfortunately, I don't use that much, it seems. I'm just you know, I always go to the scissors that are close by. So I'm just going to trim this a little bit so that it closes properly. I'm going to do the same over here. So these are the little things that you have to keep in mind when you are working on pockets like this. So they have to be easy to close and stuff like that. So that's it. So nothing much over here. We'll be attaching, so this one needs to be cleaned up more. So what I'll do is I'll probably, yeah, so I'll probably add the, you know, the closures, policy closures over here. And again, this one has moved a little bit. That's okay. I can just round this up. So this is a handmade journal and journal cover. Obviously it's not going to be perfect. I've had people you know, along this journey, so many weird experiences. Somebody who has also told me, bought from me, and told me that they get better journals, not handmade, they get store-bought journals better than the junk journal ones. So making a journal by hand totally defeats the purpose if you have a mindset like that. So yeah, but I've also had so many people you know, liking the journals that I've made, loving the journals. So it's all a part of this journal making process. So here I will be adding the closure. So it's going to come later on, not right now. So now is the part where I'm going to add these two together. So I think I have done enough of this, you know, putting the fabric down and stuff like that kind of process. So I can easily, I think I can easily do that off camera, and I'll be back after I have stitched it. So this one is already stitched. I need to glue this part and then stitch it. If you're not comfortable using fabric, you can use masking tape, or you know, some sort of a semi-flexible kind of thing, but I prefer to use fabric. It's totally your call. You can choose whatever. So I will be using an old shirt of my husband's. This is a very old shirt he had, and yeah, I've been decimating that. So I will add the spine and I'll be back to show you how it looks. Okay, so I've stitched the spines and I'll do the trimming later on, but I need to show you how I'm going to fix this. Everybody knows how to do this. This is no rocket science. This is just to find the center. I'm using a pokey tool kind of thing. This is what do you call it, an awl for leather. This is by Tim Holtz. So what I'm doing is I'll just eyeball the center sort of thing and just make a small it wouldn't matter much if you if it's not perfect, because once you put the brad in, and what I do is I'll just show you. I usually so I have that done, and then I'm going to do this one. Just eyeballing, guys. Ladies, it might not be perfect, but it still will do the job. But if you're fussy about that, then of course you can measure it out and do it. So I'm just basically making a hole. So that's that, and I'm going to pass my brads, but also I'll cover this up, once I put the brads in. So I want this to be here a little bit below so that I can tie the cord. And also what I have here, just a second, is something like this. Now I saw this on Victoria Designs YouTube channel. What she does is she places this. This is a little bit more thicker than I would require, but you know, I can always take this part off. This was just done as something that I was trying, and it has worked out well. So this is just to give a little bit of a gap between the brad and the paper. You can do it as you like, but I'm just going to add this so that there's enough space. And what I'll do is I'll just use my ruler and also a pencil. You can skip this part, but I want to make sure that they are aligned properly so that, you know, it works out well. And I'm going to be using the brad around this part, so I'm just marking where I would like the holes to be. So I'm turning this around. I don't know if you can see this place is a mess basically, so I need to clean this up, and so I thought I'll share. So just made a hole, and I'm going to be making another one on this side. And since I've used the ruler, it's basically straight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, now you can put this in between this hole and this. You can do that. Let's try that. So these are some I had made for another project. Probably share that with you sometime later on. So I don't need more than this. So I'll just open up. Not right now. Why did I open it now? Come on. So I can move this. So it's basically very easy, but I love policy closures, you know, like I don't know, there's something very tactile about the way you open and close those envelopes. Now I'm not going to you know, just pass this through this, and I'm not going to tighten this very well because I want that little gap. So I'm going to turn this around. Okay, and the brads are playing around, so I'm just going to open this up. Not much. I mean, it has to have that gap, otherwise your twine won't pass through. So it's just eyeballing basically. You can use something, a sort of a gapper kind of thing, so you can pass this. Let me show you. You can pass this through something like this. You have to have a wider, that was the reason why I didn't use it. I felt it needed a wider gap. So you can make something like this out of, you know, your packaging and stuff like that. So you can pass this like so. Yeah, and this will give you a little bit of a space, and then you can figure things out. And when you've you know, adhered the brad, you can just simply take it out. I saw her do this and it was a very cool idea. Thank you for sharing that. And we're going to do the same for this. Okay, so we have the brad, we have this. Now I'm not going to add the thread right away because I will be adding some sort of some finishing touches to this, so there's no point. So to make sure that I have enough gap in between, I can insert this. Basically I think you should have a little bit more gap because that way your circle is not going to be damaged for sure. You just need the edges basically. Okay, so this is how it is, and you get this, and then you can just you know, adjust this. So then if you want, you can cover this up. So what I'll do is I'll use 2 more of these circles. And I'm going to cover this up. So this is the paper I used. You can use something else also. You can use a masking tape. You can use some other paper. So I'm just going to cut 2 holes, circles, not holes, and I'm going to cover them up. So okay, so I have these done, and now I can just add them over here so that they don't catch any of your ephemera that you plan on adding. And it might be a little bit difficult to put it this way, so a masking tape or a paper tape would have been way better, but it's okay, it'll get adhered in the end. So it takes a little bit of time because the brad part is poking up, so it's going to be adhered in the end. So I need to paper clip this. Yeah, so we're going to do the same thing on this side. Okay, so and we're going to adhere some sort of a bulldog clip or something, so that first I hold it with my hand for a while, and then probably I'm going to be adding a bulldog clip or some sort of a clip to hold on to that. So let's see if I have anything. Yeah, I do. I don't know if this is going to work because this is not as big. Yeah, it's working. So our policy closure is done, sort of. Now we just need to dry this up and add the string. So the cover is done, and we just need to trim some parts off. That's going to be done towards the end, so I'll show you how I do that. And also in the next part I'm going to be adding the signatures. So that's done for today, and I hope this has been explanatory enough. So if you like this video, then don't forget to hit the like button. Please comment below. And some of you have been complaining to me that the comments are not showing up. That's not because something I have done. It happens sometimes. It takes a while to show up. And if you have not hit subscribe to my channel, then don't forget to subscribe. Thank you everybody for watching this. Bye. Have a great day.